Have you ever wanted to have a body like your favorite superhero? I'm talking about a body like Batman, Superman, Thor, Captain America, right? Having that nice full chest, the wide shoulders, the big arms, that perfect V shape. I know I have ever since I was a little kid. And after a lot of trial and error, I finally figured out the formula, guys, to how to build the superhero physique. And in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how to take your body from zero to hero. So let's hop in. All right, so what actually makes a superhero physique? Well, one of the biggest things is going to be your proportions. What makes Batman's physique or Superman's physique stand out is not just having a bunch of, mass and a bunch of muscle, but it's really where that muscle is placed, right? Having, the wide shoulders compared to having the small waist. And this is what is called your V shape. Now, the V shape is going to be your shoulder to your waist ratio, and that is how wide your shoulders are compared to how small your waist is. And this is really what makes a physique pop and stand out instead of just having, a big, blocky, super bodybuilder type of look, right? Now, another huge factor when it comes to building the superhero physique is going to be your body fat percentage. Let's take Chris Evans in Captain America, for example. Not only does he have nice muscle mass and proportions, but you can also see that he clearly has abs. His midsection has solid definition, but he's also not too crazy shredded. I estimate that he's around 10 to 11% body fat here. And the same thing with Henry Cavill in Superman. He has good mass and proportions, but he is not too lean and not too shredded. And that is actually the big difference when it comes to having the superhero type of build versus just having a super lean type of build, right? For example, I'm sure you've seen Zac Efron in Baywatch. Now, he's around, say, like 6 to 7%. Clearly, he is way leaner than Henry Cavill in Superman, as well as Chris Evans in Captain America, but he is nowhere near the amount of size that they have. Because with the lean physique, sure, you're gonna have that, shredded six pack, but the problem is you're not gonna be able to maintain good mass, right? A lot of times you're gonna look way smaller, especially in clothes, and heck, you might even disappear when you put on clothes. And that is why we wanna aim to be between 10 and 13% body fat for the superhero build. This is gonna make sure that we are able to maintain a good amount of mass and a good amount of size so that we look good in clothes and we're able to perform well and, have good strength in the gym, but we're still gonna be able to have a nice defined midsection and be able to see our abs. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. All right, so now that we know that it's about having a nice V shape, maintaining good muscle mass, and being at a pretty, decently low body fat percentage, now the question is, well, how do I actually get this type of physique? So here are the 3 steps that you need to follow to achieve the superhero build. Okay, for step number 1, guys, is going to be to identify your starting point. Where are you right now in your fitness journey? Are you just getting started? Are you skinny? Are you overweight? Are you somewhere in the middle? Because depending on where your starting point is, that is going to determine what your next steps are going to be. Now, I personally have been all 3. I've been skinny, I've been overweight, I've been somewhere in the middle, right? So I know exactly what to do in each of these stages. So we're gonna break it down like this. So first, if you're overweight, then your next step is going to be to eat in a caloric deficit of 500 calories every day. This is gonna start shredding the fat immediately so you can start to get to that 10 to 13% body fat range. Now guys, I have a ton of other videos on how to actually lose weight and cut properly so that you're not actually starving yourself. So you definitely wanna check out some of those videos after you watch this one. Now, if you're skinny, then your next step is going to be the complete opposite. You need to eat in a caloric surplus of 300 to 500 calories max every day so that you can actually start adding some mass to your frame. And this is gonna be called lean bulking. And the point with the lean bulk, guys, is you wanna minimize fat gain, right? You don't wanna put on too much fat. I know if you're skinny right now, you might be like, oh man, I can't put on any weight. Take it slowly, eat in that 300 to 500 calorie surplus, and over time, you're gonna put on good mass and good size without gaining a a ton of fat. And if you're somewhere in the middle, let's say you have a little bit of muscle, a little bit of fat, but you really don't have any crazy definition, with this, what you're gonna do is you are going to eat in a slight deficit of 300 calories. And you're gonna continue doing this until you get down to that 13% body fat range. And then once you get down there, you're just gonna hold that range and continue just building muscle. And this is gonna completely transform your physique. You don't need to do a crazy bulk and you don't need to do a crazy cut. Just keep the deficit small until you get down to that body fat percentage, and then just maintain that and continue adding muscle. All right, for step number 2, this is going to be maximizing muscle growth. Now, we all know that we need to work out consistently to build muscle, right? That's a given. But you want to make sure that you are hitting each muscle group twice per week. This is very important because if you're just hitting each muscle group once per week, then you're really not maximizing your gains in the gym, right? So you want to make sure you're hitting each muscle group twice per week with 3 to 4 sets per exercise. Now, when it comes to splits, this is really up to you. Me personally, I built my body by running a 5-day, a 6-day, and sometimes a 7-day split. Now, to build the superhero physique, I recommend an absolute minimum of 5 days a week, guys. This is gonna give you enough time to hit each muscle group twice per week while making sure that you are getting a good amount of sets, a good amount of volume, and really able to maximize the muscle growth in the gym. So aim for 5 days a week, and if you want, you can go 6 days a week. Now, another important factor, guys, and it is absolutely crucial for you to do when you are in the gym and when you are working out. And a lot of guys actually neglect this, and this is the reason why a lot of people's physiques just end up staying the same really year after year. They're like, oh man, I've been in the gym, a year, I've been in the gym 2 years, but I still look the same. And it's because they are not doing this crucial thing, and that is progressive overload. Guys, you got to make sure that you are progressively overloading in the gym. You got to make sure that you are getting stronger. You can't just go in the gym, pick up some weights, just try to crank out the same amount of sets each and every time you're in the gym, right? I see way too many people doing this, and they're just leaving all their gains on the table and not making any progress. When you go in the gym, let's say you're hitting a incline bench press, right? When you go in the gym, you're like, okay, I want to do 4 sets of incline bench press. For the first set, go ahead and crank out your 10 reps. And then for the second set, you want to actually raise the weight and go, say, for 8 to 10 reps. And then for the third set, raise the weight again and go for 6 to 8 reps. This is going to be putting your muscles under different amounts of stress, different amounts of tension, so that you can actually force your muscles to grow. Because if you go in there and you just do the same weight each and every time, same amount of reps, then you're not really pushing yourself in the gym much, and you're really just not going to make any gains. So progressive overload, guys, is absolutely crucial for really taking your physique to that superhero level. Now, if you're completely new to lifting, then it's totally fine to go in there and hit, say like 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps for a lot of your workouts. But over time, you definitely want to increase the weight. And you want to make sure also that you are tracking your lifts, right? I recommend just, typing in how many sets that you're doing per workout, what kind of weight that you're lifting. So then in the next couple sessions or so, you can beat that number so that you can track your progress and actually get stronger. In fact, if you're a beginner and you're not quite sure what workouts to do in the gym, don't worry. I actually created a free guide for you down below. All you have to do is just click on the link. And it's going to be a free push-pull legs plan that you can start using today so that you could go out there and start building muscle. And step number 3, guys, is going to be mastering the kitchen. Now, the kitchen, guys, is going to be the biggest thing when it comes to building that superhero physique, right? Because we need to make sure, like I said before, that we are between 10 and 13% body fat. Well, the way that we're going to do that is by making sure that our diet is on point. Now, I have a few helpful tips, guys, that's really going to help you with your diet so that you're actually not starving yourself and that you can actually eat enjoyable foods. So Let's break it down. All right, so for my first tip when it comes to the kitchen, guys, is going to be eliminate all the junk food. All right, get all the junk food out the house. Get rid of the cookies, get rid of the ice cream, get rid of the chips, get rid of the soda. Get it out the house, out of sight, out of mind. You do not want to leave any of those bingey, any of those snacking type of foods in the house. You don't want to leave it in the cabinet because it's just going to be far too tempting, and it's really going to take you off of your diet, and you're just going to end up putting on all the fat that you had just lost. Right? So you want to make sure that everything is out of sight, out of mind. Do not tempt yourself. So that is the first big tip that you need to apply right away. Now, second tip that you need to do is don't hop on any of these gimmick diets, right? Don't hop on, say, like a keto, you don't have to hop on, say, like intermittent fasting or anything like that to lose a bunch of weight or, hit 10 to 13% body fat as well. What you want to do is you actually want to find yourself low-calorie alternatives for all of your favorite foods. Guys, me personally, and I've talked about this a bunch on the channel, but what I eat every day is I eat cheeseburgers and French fries. I eat pancakes. I eat French toast. I eat quesadillas. I eat tacos. I eat nachos. Like, I eat a bunch of tasting foods that are actually very enjoyable, but I cook them in a different type of way, right? I cook them in a way where I'm taking out the high calorie ingredient and I'm replacing it with lower calorie ingredients. For example, let's say I want to make some French toast today, right? Well, instead of using that super high calorie syrup, well, I'm just going to substitute that and I'm going to use sugar-free syrup, right? So that way I can actually use as much syrup as I want and I'm not really going to be adding that many calories. So all you have to do, guys, is just do this for all of your favorite foods. Like I mentioned before, you could do this with nachos. You could do this with pizza. So a huge tip that I recommend is just going on Google, typing in your favorite foods and typing in low calorie recipe after that. And you're gonna be able to find a bunch of tasting recipes, guys, that you can eat on a day-to-day basis, stay full, and still stay within your calories so that you can actually get yourself down to that 10 to 13% body fat range. Now, another big important tip, guys, is going to be obviously the protein. You got to make sure that you're getting enough protein. But protein is pretty easy. So all you have to do is just aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you're 170 pounds, all you got to do is get around 170 grams of protein per day and you're good to go. Now, if you want to know even more and really have the step-by-step breakdown and step-by-step process when it comes to building an attractive, aesthetic, lean type of physique, then you definitely want to check out my Hollywood Body program. And this is going to be an 8-week program that fully covers dieting, nutrition, workouts, mindset, everything that you need to know, guys, to really build that nice, attractive, Hollywood-like physique. And it's gonna get you nice and ready for the summer. And that's it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please do me a huge favor, hit that like button and subscribe. We are on the road to 10,000 subscribers, so super excited about that. And also go ahead, leave a comment down below and let me know where you are on your fitness journey. Oh, and one more thing. If you wanna learn how to build some massive shoulders, then you definitely wanna go ahead and click that video on screen. God bless, and I'll catch you next time.